beauty may only be skin deep.
Oh, dear.
She was very attractive. She was tall and had red hair, and she's dressed well.
But when a man is fooled by a woman's looks,
Just show me experience. So they would use that to get money, and sometimes quite large sums of money from their victim.
he can lose everything, even his life.
Me a whore.
It was just so senseless. It was so pointless.
Where's your money?
1938, Sydney, Australia. 18-year-old Jean Lee dreams of a perfect family.
There's 2 quid down the drain.
What? You're gambling and we've got a baby coming in less than a month?
Quit your gambling, woman.
But when she marries the wrong man, her life starts to take a tough path.
Get a job!
Shut up! You shut up!
She defied the family and married a 23-year-old wharf labourer. Family didn't approve, and he was pretty much a no-hoper.
I'll bash your head.
Out of all the boys in the world that Jean could have been involved with, she chose the baddest one.
Get out!
I'm not coming back.
When Raymond walks out, he leaves Jean holding the baby.
Raymond!
She is bitter and destitute.
Being left as a single mother leaves her in financial stress. There's not, for example, welfare support in the way that we'd know it now. There's also social embarrassment. And she is probably feeling fairly alone.
After 3 years, Jean can't cope. She decides to leave daughter Jillian with Grandma
Hi, Mum.
for good.
Mum, I need you to look after Jillian for me, okay?
You can't be serious.
Please, please do this for me. I can't cope.
You have to cope. You have to cope.
I can't, Mum, please. Just, she's better off with you, okay?
The mother brings up the grandchild really as her own daughter.
The Second World War begins. Jean decides to take advantage of the influx of troops.
You have the arrival of hundreds of thousands of American servicemen into Sydney, where she lived. There were different opportunities to make money.
Cashing in on her good looks, she turns to prostitution.
She was tall and had red hair, and she was very beautiful and used to wear lovely makeup and dressed well.
In just a few years, Jean Lee is a changed woman.
Her lifestyle shifts. She's drinking, she's associating with known criminals.
She takes a second job as a barmaid and meets another bad boy, 29-year-old Robert Clayton.
Robert Clayton is really the start of her association into more serious crime. And he's quite a skilled con man. He certainly has a bad temper and is fairly violent.
Would you like another one?
Tell you what, drinks are on me if you can choose which cup the coin is under.
Well, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, ready to do.
Like Jean, he is also a user of men, and they hit it off.
Jean was on a pattern of hooking up with guys who were not good for her.
Hey, Jean, I'm Robert.
Robert teaches her the tricks of his trade. They become partners in crime.
He could be described as her pimp. She works with him over the next few years in a series of scams or cons.
I'm a new boy in town.
They perfect a sex extortion scam known as the Badger Game. Jean puts her good looks to bad use.
Jean, looking very glamorous, would strike up a conversation with a man.
She'll entice him with a few more drinks, lure him back to her room, get him in a compromising position.
Do you have this much fun in Sydney?
Clayton would bust into the room and would demand money.
What the bloody hell's going on here?
This is my bedroom. This is my wife.
Clayton often pretended he was the wronged husband.
I didn't know she was married to you. Shut up.
So what they were doing was really a form, I suppose, of blackmail.
What do you want? I've got a wife and kids to breed. Take this.
What do you guys?
Please don't tell my wife, please.
What else you got?
This is a scam. Shut up.
Get him out of here.
Come on.
If Jean had any self-respect from her childhood, any traces of it were completely gone when she started playing the Badger game.
So what's happening?
November 1949. Jean and Robert travel south to Melbourne and team up with fellow swindler, Norman Andrews.
She goes up.
The trio plan to play the Badger game on cashed-up gamblers in the city for the country's biggest horse race.
Spring Carnival is the big racing event held in Melbourne, and there's lots and lots of people with lots and lots of money, and very attractive for swindlers.
We've got to find the right bloke, you know? Not too small, not too big. Pocket full of money. Yeah, once you get them in there, you go, exactly right, mate, exactly right.
73-year-old William Pop Kent seems like the perfect target.
Here he is.
Pop William Kent, he was an SP bookie, and he owned a boarding house, and he'd pull out a roll of notes and peel them off and buy everyone a drink. He was a pretty obvious mark for the Badger game.
Good evening. I'm Jean. Interesting day.
Pop loves the women and falls for Jean's charms.
Have you had a good day, Pop?
He was very, very keen and interested. He wasn't married. He didn't have anyone to make any excuses to.
This man is a funny man.
Here's the bomb.
Last drinks, everyone.
When the bar closes, Pop wants to carry on drinking with his new admirer.
Well, why don't you come back to my place and we'll finish up, okay?
Sounds good to me.
But Jean Lee has other plans.
To think that a woman would take part in something as evil and as violent and as awful as that was just unimaginable.
November 7th, 1949, Melbourne, Australia. Con artist Jean Lee has lured unsuspecting bookmaker William Pop Kent back to his home.
You all right, Pops? Yeah, good luck.
She plans to steal his cash in a sex scam called the Badger Game.
The intention is that she'll get him in a compromising position, get money from him.
All right, Pops, we gotta go.
Her fellow crooks, Robert Clayton and Norman Andrews, leave so Jean can get down to business.
Jean Lee was trying to get his money out of his trouser pocket.
Hey, get out!
When William Kent caught Jean picking his pocket, he called her a lying whore and told her to get out of his house.
After years of abuse at the hands of men, Pop Kent's words are the final straw.
Call me a whore.
Year upon year of demeaning and immoral behavior took its toll on Jean.
I couldn't get the money the sweet way, so we're gonna have to do him over.
Her accomplices return to a Badger game gone wrong.
They believe he's hidden some of his betting winnings somewhere in the room. They weren't going to give up until he handed over the money.
Jean instigated it. She took the laces out of his shoes and tied his thumbs together.
No money.
Hold still, Pop. Where's the rest of the money?
A very brutal scene follows where they are in the room for some hours, drinking, torturing Paul Kent to try and see where he's hidden money.
Pop, you're not making this easy for yourself.
Andrews produced a small penknife and slashed his face and his nose with it.
Pops! Come on, mate.
Clayton lit a cigarette and butted it out on the man's face.
Where's your money, Pop?
But William is a tough old guy and bravely stands his ground.
Where's your money?
If he does have more cash, he's not giving it up.
Where's your money?
It's a fatal decision.
Just finish him off.
Jean Lee is thirsty for blood.
Last chance, Pop.
While he was on the ground, Jean was gloating over this and kicking him, and the poor old man had absolutely no chance.
Go on, step in! 99 pops.
Bye, Pops.
Thanks, man, Bob.
What begins as a sex scam for money ends hours later with the murder of 73-year-old William Pop Kent. The killers never find any hidden money.
99 pops!
Night, Pops.
9 pops! 99 pops!
They said, "See you, Pop. Lovely, thanks very much for having us. Good night, sleep tight." Off they went, as if to say, well, when we left, he was just fine.
Their arrogance will be their downfall.
Cheers, cheers.
They had acknowledged other people within the boarding house, so they were never going to get away with it. Within 24 hours, they were found in a room, still covered in Pop's blood.
All three face the death penalty. But in Australia at the time, it is rare to execute a woman.
No woman had been hanged in Victoria, in Melbourne, for almost 60 years. So the idea of a woman being sentenced to death is really almost outside living memory. And that also adds to the sensational nature of the crime.
Jean Lee thinks her sex will spare her from the hangman's noose, and she confesses.
Her confession, done to protect Robert Clayton, was on the grounds that she thought as a woman she would be treated more leniently.
But it is a brutal murder of a much-loved old man.
There's a long and very dramatic trial. This attracts huge amounts of media attention. Because having a woman involved, it is shocking.
Jean Lee's confession backfires. She is found guilty of murder and sentenced to death.
She moaned when the verdicts were handed down, and she believed that a woman wouldn't be sentenced to death.
February 19th, 1951. 31-year-old Jean Lee is hanged at Pentridge Prison, Melbourne, Australia.
She liked being a bad girl. The only person that put that hangman's noose around Jean's neck was Jean.
2 hours later, Robert Clayton and Norman Andrews suffer the same fate. In a twist, Jean's death helps keep future deadly Australian women alive.
Her execution ultimately serves to forward the cause against the death penalty.
There was a general consensus of opinion that hanging Jean Lee was extreme and that her sentence should have been reduced to life imprisonment.
Jean Lee goes down in history as the last woman to be hanged in Australia.
Jean was not a natural-born killer. She did not have an abusive upbringing. But she chose a path that led her to murder.
Melinda strives for a perfect life before her God and her community, until a new man comes along. In the end, she's left with nothing.
You know, they're not thugs, they're not career criminals, they're not violent offenders. They're the kind of people that, before this happened, never in your wildest dreams suspect of being capable of killing somebody. But it happened. It's a very, very unnerving thing.
Some women know what they want from an early age.
Do it.
To live the life of a gangster.
This is where the greed came in.
I am Poe.
Jealousy and ego.
But it is a road paved with misery.
She was the toxic influence. In the end, it got them all killed.
In the late 1990s, the city of Melbourne, Australia, is gripped in a bloody gangland war. Before it's over, some 30 gangsters will be gunned down on suburban streets. Crime matriarch Judy Moran's family is at the heart of the blood battle. Million-dollar drug dealers with mortal enemies.
They're mixed up in shootings, robberies, bashings. They're just disgraceful pieces of humanity.
The first to fall is Judy's oldest son, Mark. Shot dead in cold blood.
Through all this violence, Judy underestimated the other side. She was continually egging the boys on. You can deal with these guys. She always thought the Morans would somehow triumph.
But 3 years later, second son Jason is killed.
This was Judy's world, a world where violence was king.
Oh, could we deal with my darling?
Good afternoon.
Judy was born into crime. Her father's a thief, and he passes on his family values.
It's just over there.
Judy was a champion shoplifter. She would walk out wearing 4 coats or several yards of silk tucked under your dress. She learnt to steal the best. Only the best for Judy.
I didn't fit.
Thank you.
Judy was raised on mean streets that all had to do with her being attracted to bad boys.
When it's time for Judy to spread her wings, she falls head over heels for another hustler and thief, Lewis Moran.
She enjoyed being the girlfriend of a thief more than she enjoyed the normal life. She relished it.
Champagne to celebrate? Yeah, champagne sounds perfect.
You look like you've had a win.
Together, they set out to make their mark, doing what they know best,
I'd love some.
fleecing the unsuspecting.
One for the lady.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Judy used to be able to distract attention, position a person.
Cheers.
Lewis, who was an expert pickpocket, would dip the bloke, as it's called, and they'd be none the wiser.
Better get back to my friend.
Oh, okay then.
They managed to subsist on that sort of thing for quite a while.
That on Adam's like? Yeah, Adam's like.
In the 1990s, the Morans hit the jackpot. Illegal drugs.
Suddenly money was flowing like never before. She started to see herself as almost criminal royalty.
But it is a deadly business. After losing 2 sons, Judy loses her husband to gang wars.
Mrs. Moran?
By now, she is a criminal celebrity.
I am a wife with no husband and a mother with no children. How the hell do you think I feel? Oh, Mrs. Moran? Mrs. Moran?
It gave her a chance to have interviews, and it gave her a chance to flaunt around like an old tart.
Judy loses more than her family.
So, are you going to help me find the money or not?
She loses her income.
Lewis owned property. He owned land, lots of it.
When you get used to living this life of luxury without working for it, then you start to lose relativity, perspective on where you are, and she certainly did.
There's got to be millions stashed away somewhere.
She really thought that she was entitled to all this.
Can't just evaporate, can it?
So where else do you want me to look?
I suggest that you look at his brother, Tuppence. He never
But
liked
criminals
it, and
don't leave their money in the bank.
own money.
Your choice, Mrs. Moran. Thank you.
Judy is convinced Lewis has hidden his drug fortune around town.
Had enough of your behaviour, Judy.
And that his brother, Des Tuppence Moran, knows where it is.
You're not entitled to anything, Judy.
I am owed.
She perceived that he had the key to all the money. And she thought that there should be many, many millions of money still around.
To placate her, Des offers Judy financial help.
Out of respect for my brother, I will give you an allowance.
How much?
4,000 a month.
With respect, that's not nearly enough.
Well, that's all you're going to
The
get.
gangster
No more,
queen is
no less.
livid.
We'll see about that.
This is where the greed came in, and jealousy and ego, and why should I be left like this?
The grieving matriarch will become a murderer. Melbourne, Australia, in 2009.
There's got to be millions stashed away somewhere.
Crime matriarch Judy Moran has lost everything.
How the hell do you think I feel?
Her family is murdered. And now she's relying on handouts from brother-in-law Tuppence Moran.
She was being paid $4,000 per month.
I am owed.
It's not enough for this gangster queen.
Nuts, I've got a favour to ask you, and it could be worth millions to you.
I'm listening.
Tuppence.
Judy decides there should be one more dead Moran.
The problem is he won't give it up.
She hires help. A shooter named Nuts.
So now, the only way that we can get that money is to get rid of the man.
Judy was in a world that killing was an acceptable behavior.
Yeah?
I'm guessing she was probably upset and angry at her losses. And murder was simply not that difficult for her.
Okay. Now here's to it.
What about Indian? Is Indian okay?
It will look like just another gangland hit.
Hey, Mick, you drive, okay?
Sure, there's no one.
Problem was that Des had drunk about 10 pots of beer and he didn't want to lose his licence, so he got his mate to actually drive the car. Nuts strides up thinking the driver must be Des and pings one shot through the windscreen. Miraculously, it lodges in the steering wheel. He goes to fire again, but now the gun jams.
You all right, mate? Yeah. Huh?
Des Moran lives.
Jude, we're in.
Judy doesn't get her money. Time for Plan B. Three months later, at a Melbourne coffee shop,
He's the bastard.
Judy and her hitmen try again, in broad daylight.
I can't imagine why she would do it, because you don't get any money out of dead people.
Des pays for his last meal as two strangely disguised assassins move in.
Nuts is not going to mess this up a second time. He goes and puts 4 into Des on the ground and kills him outright.
It's time for Judy's greatest performance, her alibi.
Not another Miranda.
This is a way she wanted to portray herself to people, to get their sympathy and, oh, poor Judy again.
It should have been me.
She almost thought it was another episode of a crime show, that the credits would roll and she would get off scot-free.
Oh, no.
She was really quite delusional.
Oh.
But it's one performance too many for the police. They search her house.
They found the wig, the balaclava, the wind cheater Nuts was wearing, everything. It's like they'd packaged up all the evidence and said, here you are. We don't want to get away with this.
The final Moran episode becomes an open and shut case of murder. The gunman, Nuts, is sentenced to 26 years. And so is the 66-year-old gangster queen, Judy Moran, in August 2011. Judy survived the Melbourne gangland wars, but not her own greed. She may never know freedom again.
She may die in jail, which would be a crushing blow to her. Imagine wearing the same outfit every day. That is death for Judy.
She's fallen for the three-card trick: envy, hatred, and jealousy.
An eccentric millionaire is found dead in his home.
Bound, gagged, tied up with dog leashes.
The scene reeks of hard drugs and bondage.
He enjoyed being tied up and having kinky sex.
But this is no kinky sex game gone wrong. It's a cold-blooded, half-baked murder. Melbourne, Australia, 2000. Two seemingly mismatched people take a shine to each other. 33-year-old Shirley Withers is a bookkeeper. Not the type you'd expect to attract a playboy.
She was not tall, glamorous, the sort of person that you'd imagine a millionaire to take up with.
51-year-old divorcee Peter Shellard is a multi-millionaire property developer and luxury car dealer.
Peter Shellard basically was a self-made man. He was a member of the Rolls-Royce Club, and he had a lot of associates and friends there. Moved in a lot of circles.
Shirley is about to get a new, luxurious lifestyle. And all her dreams will be bankrolled. Peter Shellard's deep pockets allow him to indulge his new girlfriend.
Really? Do you like it? Love it.
When Peter met Shirley, he was apparently smitten. And one of the things he was willing to do was finance a boutique.
An upscale boutique in the upscale Melbourne suburb of Brighton.
You know, if you want to have a boutique in Melbourne, Brighton's the place to have it, especially when the investment is someone else's.
Peter was named as a shareholder in that business. Basically, he was a figurehead to the business, and it was Shirley that was running that business.
Seriously, Peter, tell me where we're going.
Just trust me, 2 steps up, got another one.
The big-ticket investment in Shirley continues.
Surprise!
What?
The house, I bought it for you.
Oh, what, really?
Yeah. Yeah, look, here's the keys.
Did you really buy this for me?
Yeah,
It's not a love nest for the two of them because Peter wants to live separately.
It was an unusual relationship. She lived in a house that he had bought her or paid for. And then he lived in his own mansion doing his own things.
How's it going, sweetheart?
In a final display of blind faith and bad judgment, Peter puts Shirley in charge of the books at his car dealership.
One of her jobs was to balance the books. She had access to the books of some of his more lucrative businesses, but she misused the trust he put in her, and eventually something went very, very wrong.
What goes wrong first is the boutique.
If she wanted stock, she would just order more, despite not having paid for the last bit of stock. The bills were mounting up.
The business is bleeding. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
There was never enough money for anything. Goodness only knows where the money actually went.
Shirley succumbs to the lure of easy money.
And as a consequence of being such a bad businesswoman, Shirley, who was still doing the books for Peter, was writing checks to herself on his bank accounts.
We estimate that she received about $900,000 in cash from that bank in her hand.
Stealing that much money doesn't go unnoticed for very long. Peter doesn't call in the police, but his accountant.
His accountant was very clear and said, look, you know, if you pursue this, Shirley Withers will be charged by the police. Peter Shellard said he was prepared to do that. He was going to go back and confront Shirley Withers about these monies.
Shirley, you've been cashing my cheques, haven't you?
No,
What about the cost of my credit card?
I don't know anything about that.
I'm talking to the bank, Shirley. There's a lot of money missing, and I bet I know where it's gone.
Shirley's gravy train looks like it's leaving without her.
And that was just not quite what Shirley had in mind.
It's early May in Melbourne, Australia, 2005. Shirley Withers is robbing Peter Shellard, her millionaire boyfriend, to pay for her debts.
Peter had been very good to Shirley. He gave her a lot of money to start a business. She stole his credit cards and his checking account.
And she's been caught.
It's quite a bizarre thing because at no stage did she seem worried about the police. She just thought she was going to lose her quite lucrative meal ticket and that he would take away her home, her boutique.
But Shirley's not going to let that happen. She befriends a couple, a world away from her high society life. Drug addict Stan Kolonikas and his girlfriend Sophie Stupas.
Shirley sought them out. She befriended them.
She gave them thousands of dollars worth of cash. She was wooing them, hoping to get a couple of allies in Sophie and Stan.
He ties me up and...
Shirley tells the couple tall tales about Peter. She claims he is into kinky sex.
Somebody should do those things to him.
And is abusing her.
Shirley admitted to her new friends that her super rich boyfriend would make her do things, that he would tie her up and force her to have sex in bondage positions. And Shirley didn't like it.
Yeah, no dramas. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Whenever you want, we'll do it, yeah?
They latched onto her because she was a cash cow. She had a problem, and to keep their cash cow, they were just going to go along with what Shirley wanted.
Late Friday night, May 6th, 2005. The trio pays Peter a visit.
They wake Peter from a dead sleep. He, of course, fights back and he bites Sophia on the finger, and her reaction is to pick something up and hit him with it.
Peter Shellard had received a number of lacerations and cuts to the head, and that had caused a bleed to his brain. Further to that, he'd received a black eye, numerous injuries, defensive-type injuries to his forearm. He had other injuries where restraints had been placed on him.
Cousin! They dragged him onto the floor and they trussed him up like a pig. If he was conscious at all, it would have been terrifying.
Next, Shirley injects him with heroin to try and make it look like an overdose.
And gives a shot to poor Peter, who's still semi-conscious on the floor.
Then they give Peter another dangerous drug. This one is a suppository.
OxyContin is a very powerful synthetic narcotic pain reliever, and it is highly addicting.
It's a bad mix with heroin, especially for Peter, who has a weak heart.
Shirley knew all this about Peter. She knew that he had a heart condition.
Peter's left to die alone, while Shirley and her accomplices celebrate pulling off the perfect crime. It looks like Peter has died after a night of kinky sex and drugs gone wrong. Almost 12 hours later, Shirley calls the police.
Help me! Help!
She appeared genuinely upset about what she had found. We had no concerns about her behaviour. That's what we expected, someone who finds their partner dead in a room.
But if Peter has died from a rough sex game, who is his partner? Shirley denies it is her. And then in a fingerprint sweep, police find a potential suspect, a heroin addict with a criminal record.
That fingerprint came back as being one left by Sophia Stupas. So at this point, we believe that Sophia was involved in Peter Shellard's death. And because Sophia was, we believed that Stan would be there as well.
And so, of course, they came clean. We were there purely because Shirley asked us to help her teach this man a lesson.
The police believe the addict's story, but need more evidence. So they launch an audacious undercover sting operation with a fake hitman.
All right, well, I need photos of them, and I need their address.
I can get you the address.
Okay, what do
An undercover policeman contacts Shirley and offers his services.
we put him in hospital?
Shirley Withers told the undercover police officer that she wanted two people that she knew who had killed her partner, Peter.
I want them dead.
Okay.
She wanted them dead.
Money.
I got the money.
It's my belief that she wanted them dead so that no one else knew of her involvement in his death.
Shirley's arrested and charged with her boyfriend's murder and 2 counts of incitement to murder her accomplices. Stanley Kolonikas and Sophie Stupas plead guilty to manslaughter and receive 6 years in jail. In 2007, Shirley chooses to go to trial.
She was convicted for the murder of Peter Shellard and also she pleaded guilty to the 2 incitements. She received a sentence of 26 years jail.
In a subsequent appeal, Shirley convinces a judge that she didn't mean to kill Peter, only teach him a lesson.
For some bizarre reason, her charge was changed to manslaughter on the grounds that she would have had no way of knowing how much heroin would be required to kill him.
As a result, she was convicted of manslaughter. She subsequently received a 13-year jail term with 9 years of good behaviour.
Shirley's greed destroys her chance of living on Easy Street. With a generous boyfriend willing to make her dreams come true.
Shirley Withers has shown no remorse at all for what happened to Peter Shellard.
She is eligible for parole in 2016.
She had larceny in her heart, and there's no pill for that.